Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on wearehotline.net, 11 a.m. to noon, Monday to Thursday. And we have the beautiful warrior, motivational speaker, and author of Becoming Warrior. Please welcome Belinda Kamshuka Barrocks to the show. How are you doing today, Belinda?
I'm doing great. It's a fabulous day.
It is.
I'm just enjoying this weather.
I know, it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. And people who are listening and who don't know, Toronto has this, long season of cold, and then when we get nice, hot, beautiful weather, we really appreciate it and embrace it.
We soak it in.
We soak it in every minute.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Belinda, it's been a while since we've been orbiting each other. I've been watching you, blossom into this fabulous woman of, of courage and motivating others in the community. And now we have another moment to sit together and chat about all the great things you're doing. So for people who don't know about your background, let's tell them a little bit about how you started and how it led you to where you are today.
Okay, well, 16 years ago, I can't believe it's been 16 years that I've been shooting as a photographer. But 16 years ago, I discovered a passion for people, and I began to be introduced to the camera and just capturing people's emotions and stories. Absolutely loved it. I loved every moment of it. Funny thing is, 6 years ago, I also discovered within that passion that I absolutely loved to speak. And everywhere I went, every, shoot that I was on, I always wanted to hear people's stories, and I always wanted to be able to share something with them. And the more I gravitated towards that, I realized people would ask me to speak and share a little bit of, why I enjoy art and photography so much. And the more I did it, the more I wanted to keep speaking. So 6 years ago, I launched my career as a motivational speaker, and it was just natural to me and felt like purpose just kind of led me through photography into being a speaker.
Okay.
It was just great. I mean, I can't tell you what I love more, but it's all related. I get to shoot and capture people's stories in art form, but I also get to be able to speak into their lives, positivity, and just, speak life into their stories and hear their stories. And so it brings me back to just a passion for people, and it's come full circle for me, and I'm just loving it.
Fantastic. Wow. And that's really a powerful part of, your personal testimony is being able to look through the years and realize the progress and every little path that you took, whether it was what you needed or not, it was all part of the process to where you are now to teach others, right? So I think that's amazing that you're able to take this now and to put some of your experiences and share it in a book. So let's talk about Becoming Warrior. And when we were talking about the title, you corrected me and said it's not Becoming a Warrior. Now, why was it chosen to be coined that way as a title?
I just had to say it that way because when I think of the people we are, you're a woman. You're not becoming a woman. You're becoming woman. You're just taking on what's already yours. It's almost like it's a natural thing. It's just where you're going with it. And for me, my story sprouts out of being a war survivor, and all the different things I've been through in my life has just brought me closer to being the person that I am. So becoming warrior is exactly how I feel I was meant to be. Not that I'm putting it on, but it was that part inside of me that was just being, girdled, and the part inside of me that was just being trained, and I'm still in process. But that's exactly what that means.
Okay, now that makes absolute sense. Now I understand. You can't work yourself to be into something that you already are, right? So that's right. The whole meaning behind the title.
Absolutely.
how much can you share with us about your early experiences as a child growing up in Africa? And I believe it was Uganda. Is that your native
That's right.
place?
Yes, it is Uganda. And I mean, I've learned to discover Uganda all over again in, my adult years. But as a child, I was in the middle of the Civil War in 1984, and I guess my worst memory really was being trapped in a small room with just a mattress blockading the bullets from coming in, and we were there for 3 days and 3 nights with my father. And surviving that, coming outside of that room and looking outside and seeing people that were dead, on the grounds, and just going through such a traumatic thing in my life built a lot of fear inside of me as a child, fear of almost everything. So I spent a lot of my years as a child in fear, just always being afraid of absolutely everything. And it got me to a place in my adult life where I just couldn't do it anymore. It was too much to always be fearful of something. And, it's taken me down to the deepest, darkest moments of my life where I was suicidal and just really didn't want to be here. But I always had the choice to choose life or to choose death. And I chose to use the fear as fuel for my future. So instead of letting it cripple me like it did, I chose to take the same fears and use it as fuel to motivate others. And in learning about myself, I discovered that as people, we all have stories, and each story has to be told. For us to live who we truly are, we have to be able to share our stories. And I get that opportunity now as a motivational speaker to speak life into people's, situations and tell them that you don't have to stay a victim. You don't have to stay fearful. You can come out being fearless, but also fearing less. Not that it goes away completely, but you just learn how to fear less day by day.
Yeah, and it dissipates as you get stronger in faith, because the opposite of fear, we know, is faith.
Is faith, absolutely.
Well, let's
over
talk
fears.
about faith over fears, absolutely. And we can all attest to that as human beings, that we've had our moments of just debilitating fear from whatever circumstance, and then we just try to move beyond it. And then there's some people who are stuck there. So that's why, messages from you and from other leaders in the community who have the courage are so important to get people unstuck. So you have children. How many children do you have?
I have 4, and it always seems like I should say 8, but it's just 4.
Do they multiply?
Sometimes when they're all talking to me at the same time, yes, it does feel like...
It feels like 8 or 16, right?
A tribe, yeah. But, I came from 4, and I love the large family. I love my house to have sound. I really am not that person to sit, in the quietness of my house. It's just too quiet. I need the noise. So I have 4 beautiful children ranging from 12 years old to 2 years old. So we have quite a difference, but they all get along just fine.
I love big families too. I have 3, and and who knows what else is out there, in the world.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about, your children coming to terms with fear. How do you teach them to overcome it?
Well, it's funny because becoming, even as I became a mother, I thought at some point maybe I wouldn't have to tackle this issue with my children because I would just keep them in a bubble, protect them the whole way through. And I realized that is just the hardest thing to do ever. And I just couldn't do it. It wasn't in my control. So fear is a huge conversation in our house. We are constantly talking about, little things and, like my 4-year-old is scared of flies and bugs. And so we're constantly showing them the reality of what fear is. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Most of the time we're afraid of something that hasn't even happened yet. It's just this big thought in our head. So I'm constantly going over what it means to be afraid of something so little that has no power over you. And I'm honestly learning along the way too. So it's kind of like I get to have that childhood again through them, so we're in process. I can say that for sure.
Okay. Fantastic. So let's talk about some of the, services that you offer. You're a photographer and I know you host and you're a motivational speaker. So let's talk about them and who gravitates to you.
Okay. Well, generally when I motivate and I choose to inspire people, it's just people. I don't inspire just women or men, but definitely women gravitate to me. And I think it's because of the story for sure, and I can relate to a lot of women as far as where they're coming from. But because I have sons and daughters, I try to keep it as general as I can because people need to know that they're going to be okay. But generally, it's women that gravitate towards me. I do a wide range of things. They're all really related. As an artist, I love the expression of art and photography. I do a lot of traveling for speaking, and then I get the chance to also be able to shoot and capture the places I go to and come back to the city of Toronto and just share with them what I've seen, so I get to tie it all in. So I'm speaking as I'm sharing my art, and I also host. I think wherever people are, you'll find me. As a motivational speaker, I also am a life coach, so I get to do the one-on-one coaching with my clients as well as group coaching. And at the end of the day, it's just really, who have I been able to impact today? How have I changed somebody's life? How have I added value to them? Yeah.
That's amazing. I wanted to ask you something regarding, women and as they rise. Everyone, to me, has a gift, and everyone, there really shouldn't be any competition in this world because there's enough to go around for everyone. However, there are people with limited beliefs, so they maybe subscribe to competition. Now, when it comes to a woman like you, you're beautiful, you're multi-talented, you have a wonderful family. Do you find yourself faced with rivalry or envy or jealousy, and how do you deal with it?
Well, definitely, I do find myself in that position a lot. I've realized one thing, and that was in the past, it used to affect me, where, it would bother me. And now as I've grown, I start to realize that each person, like you said, has their gifting, their talent, their purpose for why they're here. And if everyone could see that their unique position in life is designed just for them and they can bring something special and something unique to the world, we won't have people competing. But it is human nature to be envious and to be jealous. And, it's human nature to be that way. But I believe that if you can get to a place where you understand your authentic self, you will not want to be like anyone else, I've struggled with fitting in for years till I realized that when you're really truly created to be so unique and no matter where you go, you will always stand out, nothing you do can, you can't be compared. You just can't be labeled. And I think when you cannot be labeled and when you cannot be defined, people have a problem with that, so then they start slandering and they start talking about you and the jealousy, shows up and the true colors really do. But if we can look within ourselves and I guess, focus on why we're here and what our purpose is, then we have that one focus and you can't get distracted. But it's human nature to get to that place where, you're thinking, I don't want to be compared and, what I'm bringing is not what they're bringing, but they don't know that. And so they want to be just like you. It's almost like flattery, but in just a strange form. But if you're true to yourself and who you're created to be and your purpose is, yours only, then you'll walk that line without looking around.
Fantastic. That's a great, great answer. And let's talk about, the work that you've done over the years, and you've changed so many people's lives. How have you been transformed in this process?
Wow. It's funny because I love getting messages and notes from people telling me how I've impacted them. But if they could even understand the magnitude of how I've been affected by just putting myself in a place of openness, it's daily changed me. They constantly inspire me to continue. The days I really truly want to give up because it's just so hard sometimes to stay on track, I'm reminded of the people that I've affected. And then I'm reminded of how they've changed my life in the last even 10 years. It's something that I'm constantly thinking about because without the people that I've been surrounded by, and even the different seasons in my life where I've met certain people and never seen them again, they all had something to add to the person that I am today. And I'm just grateful for that because I don't believe that the journeys we walked on and the circumstances and situations and people come into our lives for nothing. They've all added something, and it's just so unique and so special.
Yes. That's amazing. Powerful words. And I believe that there is strength in vulnerability when you put yourself in that place where you could easily be a target, but you're walking in strength anyway to the next level is a fantastic and liberating place to be. So I applaud you for, all the things that you're doing. And we're really looking forward to having you on the Nikki Clarke Show live so people can, see and hear you and just really, show you great energy and love. And that's what the audience does. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So let's tell everyone how they can contact you then.
Perfect. Well, it's really simple. It's just my website. All my information's there on my social media. It's www.kamshuka.com. And I'll spell Kamshuka, KAMSHUKA.com.
Fantastic. Belinda, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing with us. It's been such a great time.
Thank you.
You're really, an inspiration for so many men and women and children. So we just, I just really want to wish you all the best. And, yeah, we all do. We all do. We're here to build each other up. So thanks again.
That's right.
And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. You're welcome.
I cannot wait. I'll see you then.
Thanks, Belinda.
Okay, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.